For thousands of years, a unique civilization of wet rice cultivation has developed along the East Sea. Poetic landscapes, gentle people, a legendary land of dreams and courage. A part of the Indochina Peninsula in the Southeast Asian region, Vietnam lies on the eastern seaboard. The country borders China in the north, Cambodia and Laos in the west, and the East Sea in the east. With a total area of over 331,000 square kilometers, Vietnam comprises fertile deltas and majestic mountains and islands. The capital of Hanoi is located in the north and has a long history of tradition and culture. Ho Chi Minh City is the biggest and busiest trade center in the country. After 30 years of reform, Vietnam's economy has made notable achievements. As an open economy, Vietnam wishes to befriend all countries. It holds a firm belief that throughout the world, close and harmonious cooperation will foster development and prosperity for all people and nations. Doing business in Vietnam, achieve success. With a population nearing 100 million, in which 60% are people under age 35, Vietnam provides an abundant source of young and high-quality labor at competitive prices. Vietnam is socially, politically, and economically stable. The country constantly develops its legal institutions and transparency to meet international commitments and standards, creating favorable conditions for investors and enterprises to establish long-term businesses and participate in regional and global supply chains and value chains. Vietnam's scale of trade in 2016 reached $340 billion, nearly 1.6 times higher than its GDP. The country attracted more than 23,000 FDI projects from 116 countries and territories, with over $300 billion in registered capital and $160 billion in implemented capital. Germany is Vietnam's biggest European trade partner, with bilateral trade turnover in 2016 of $8.8 billion, in which Vietnam's exports were nearly $6 billion. German investment in Vietnam is currently $1.4 billion, ranking 6th among European trade partners. After Germany, the Netherlands is Vietnam's second biggest European trade partner. Bilateral trade turnover between the two countries in 2016 reached $6.7 billion, in which Vietnam's exports were $6 billion. The Netherlands is Vietnam's biggest European investor, with total investment of $7.7 billion. As of May 2017, Dutch investors have 282 projects in Vietnam, with total investment capital of $7.65 billion. The average scale of Dutch projects in Vietnam is $27.1 million, 2 times higher than the average scale of other foreign projects, which is $13 million. According to a World Bank report, Vietnam has maintained a high growth rate over the past 20 years. It is one of only a few countries in the world with continuous positive growth. Following the global economic crisis, Vietnam remained one of 15 nations which were valued highly as a stable investment environment. Vietnam has diplomatic relations with 178 countries. And economic commercial investment ties with more than 224 countries and territories. Vietnam is an active and responsible member of regional and international forums and cooperatives. Vietnam has signed 12 free trade agreements and is negotiating 4 new generation trade agreements. These agreements will help Vietnam become an important link in the economic network of 55 nations, including many G20 and G7 members. According to the World Bank Doing Business 2017 report, Vietnam jumped from 91st to 82nd of the top 190 economies in the world. According to World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report 2017, Vietnam ranked 60th of 138 countries. In May 2017, Moody's Investors Service changed the outlook on Vietnam's rating from stable to positive. The Nikkei Vietnam Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, rose to a 22-month high, the highest result in the ASEAN region. This shows the continuous stability of purchasing power and production capability in Vietnam. In May 2017, at a dialogue between entrepreneurs and Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc, with the attendance of over 2,000 enterprises, the government collected many initiatives from the business community, including FDI enterprises. Vietnam aims to maintain an economic growth rate in the 2016-2020 period of 6.5% to 7% per year and to develop sustainably toward green and clean industries with 3 main driving forces: exports, the domestic market, and investment. Through this, Vietnam will affirm its position as a dynamic country and an attractive destination for investors in ASEAN and an active participant in regional and global value chains. To achieve such targets, Vietnam is improving its investment and business environment and competitiveness based on a transparent, facilitative, and active government working for the benefits of enterprises and citizens. The government is committed to creating the best possible business environment, meeting standards in countries of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD. This consists of reduced transaction fees, corruption, and macroeconomic and policy risks, as well as improved forecasting, transparency, and accountability for the business community. The government has pledged to continue building and improving factors to raise competitiveness in the economy in fields such as infrastructure, financial systems, education, and vocational training. Vietnam will make its institutions more open and friendly, providing more opportunities for all economic sectors to participate and contribute, with the private sector acting as a driving force for economic development. Vietnam is committed to improving its legal system and policies related to investment in terms of consistency, transparency, and forecasting to create favorable conditions for investors. With its potentials and advantages, Vietnam invites international investors to build a future of prosperity aided by these key points. Encouraging mergers and acquisitions, or M&A, along with the equitization of big state enterprises in the fields of transport, infrastructure, food, agriculture, telecommunications, finance, services, tourism, construction, and more. Improving the legal framework and creating favorable conditions for public-private partnerships, or PPP, to develop infrastructure, especially by attracting investors in Vietnam and abroad to participate in a flexible and open mechanism. Fostering startups and connecting with the global startup ecosystem. Creating favorable conditions for foreign investors and economic organizations investing in Vietnamese startup firms. Conditions include simplifying investment capital transfers and transfers of profits to overseas. Encouraging and facilitating tech companies to produce high-tech products, especially products that are trend-setting and environmentally friendly, to establish and do business in Vietnam. Meeting diverse standards for economic activities, from finance banking to industrial and agricultural production, information technology, tourism, services, and more. Vietnam is among just a few countries with magnificent attractions, beaches, diverse nature, all suitable to developing tourism and resorts. Boosting agricultural production, especially by using high technology in production and processing. These processes require qualified experts and modern technologies. Vietnam welcomes international enterprises to invest long-term in the country. Vietnam is committed to raising the value and standards of tech transfer, brand value, finance capability, business management, production and material supply chains, and the consumption market. Vietnam encourages international enterprises to invest through venture funds, information exchange, experience sharing, and connecting Vietnamese enterprises with the global market. Vietnam invites investment funds and international corporations to invest in ongoing projects or to propose new projects in the fields of infrastructure, logistics, aviation services, education, science and technology, biology, environment, high-tech agriculture, supporting industries, and more. Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc spoke at a meeting with major Japanese enterprises in Tokyo on June 5, 2017. The government of Vietnam is committed to partnering with and creating favorable conditions for foreign enterprises to do business in Vietnam. The government considers improving the business environment and developing enterprises as driving forces of the economy, as well as leading priorities. Vietnam continues to move toward international integration. The country's progress of economic development over many years affirms its value as the hidden pole of the international market, with detailed action plans and strong messages from the government. Vietnam looks to become an attractive destination for foreign investors. Doing business in Vietnam, achieve success.